brutalism leaves a lasting impression. To some, it is bold, honest, and powerful. To others, it is cold, soulless, and oppressive. Once the future of architecture, now a relic of the past. Why brutalism rise so fast, and why did it fall just as quickly? Let's break it down. To understand brutalism, we have to go back to the post-World War II era. Cities were in ruins, housing was in crisis, and there was a demand for cheap, efficient, and modern architecture. Inspired by Le Corbusier's Butte on Brute, a new movement was born. Architects like Allison and Peter Smithson, Paul Rudolph, and Louis Kahn embraced exposed concrete, geometric forms, and raw, unfinished materials, not for aesthetic reasons but for the function and affordability. This was brutalism, tough, honest, and built to last. In 1950s and 60s, brutalism became face of progress. Governments loved it. It was affordable, easy to mass produce, and perfect for public buildings like universities, libraries, and social housing. Brutalism wasn't just about concrete, it was about ideas, a vision for a fair, modern world where architecture served everyone and not just the elite. At its peak, brutalism dominated cities worldwide. But then something changed. By 1970s and 80s, brutalism started to fall out of favor. But why? Brutalist buildings relied heavily on raw concrete, which stains and weathers poorly. Without proper upkeep, they aged badly, looking more like ruins than the modern marvels. To many, brutalism was too harsh, too cold, too inhuman. It lacked warmth, and people simply didn't want to live or work inside massive concrete blocks. Many brutalist public housing projects became symbol of poverty and crime due to poor planning and neglect. Instead of utopia architects envisioned, the spaces felt dystopian. By 1980s, architecture took a different turn. People wanted color, ornamentation, and playful designs, leading to the rise of postmodernism. Glass skyscrapers and concrete-friendly aesthetics took over, and brutalism was left behind. Many of these once visionary buildings were demolished, seen as relics of failed ideology. But was brutalism really a failure? Fast forward to today, and brutalism is making a surprising comeback. Architects, artists, and designers now see it as raw, dramatic, and powerful. Designers are replicating brutalism in fashion, graphic design, and modern architecture. Some brutalist buildings, once hated, are now iconic landmarks. So was brutalism really a mistake, or was it just ahead of its time? Should brutalism make a comeback, or should it stay in the past? Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And see you in the next one.